is going on, boys and girls? Guys, I decided yesterday to cancel the late night show because I thought I said what I needed to say in the midday while the transfer windows was going on, and Arsenal didn't do any more business. So I was expecting at least one more to go through. But as I said, the talks broke down in the day with Awa in the morning. And it looked like after they got their right back that they kind of set up shop and there's like 150 million. Remember, guys, these guys are in the red. So that 150 million that was front loaded from the owners was kudos to Josh Kroenke for that. It's something that you got to feel bad for these owners because these owners have put in over 350 million in a club. I'm talking about on the new stage. Since Josh Kroenke has come in, 150 million this year, 86 million last year, 144 million a year before that, and 144 million a couple of years ago. That was the most that any team's ever spent. And then this summer is the most that any team's ever spent. So if you look at it, in 2 out of the 3 summers, Arsenal have spent more than any other team in the league. So can we lay off the owners for a while because they are providing money into the club? So all of this Kroenke out, Kroenke out. Let's kind of try and reinvest that energy into the front office, into Vinay and Edu, which is actually where the money sits, the guys who were spending the cash, yeah? The guys who were giving the cash and spending the cash, two different things. And so if criticism needs to be angled somewhere, it's got to be at the front office, which I've been saying for months, yeah? So I'm going to give my grade of the window. Before I give my grade, let me talk about, first of all, who was hot and who's not. So first of all, who's not? Who had the worst grade, in my opinion? Well, I have to share that between two teams. The first team is Wolverhampton Wanderers. For me, I don't think it's the window that they wanted. They signed some good young players, Francesco Trincio, who's actually a loan, and they brought in Jose Sarr in goal to replace Rio Patricio. Now, he moved to AC Roma, so you can't really say anything about what's going back with him. Also, with Jimenez coming back and Adon Traore, they just couldn't move him, too expensive. Again, he wasn't a commodity, he wasn't anybody that teams really wanted. And for the price, they was just talking some foolishness money, and he ain't a prime player, he's no Madison or Jack Grealish, or he ain't anything anywhere near that. So I'm going to give them a 3 out of 10. And the next team is Newcastle United. Now, Newcastle United, very, very underwhelming window. And you have to say, great stuff. Steve Bruce he brought back the main man from last season, Joe Willock, from Arsenal on a permanent deal following his amazing spell with the team last year, where he scored 8 goals for them in just 11 games. And pretty much that was about it. I mean, Newcastle wanted to do a lot more in the window and never got any deals done. And because they only signed one player and they had needs pretty much all over the place, we're going to give them a 4 out of 10 for that. So, yeah, sorry, Newcastle fans. So the best team that had the most amazing transfer window has to be Man United. Now, Man United opened the window with Jadon Sancho. They had Varane in there as well. So you have to look at the fact that they have somehow got all these amazing players. Actually, that works out probably to about 110 million or so. But they've done amazing business in terms of getting that all sorted out. And not only did they have some amazing bright talents in Sancho to help them with the midfield area, but they shored up the defence with experience in Varane. But when you talk about experience leading onto a young team, which is something Arsenal needed, by the way, you then go out and you get Cristiano Ronaldo for a cut price, 250 grand a week. And wow, I mean, I can't. That's 30 goals for your team right there. And regardless whether he's not the same player that he used to be, it's the leadership aspect. And you remember, this guy is one of the top 2 players in the world and has been for over the last decade. Him and Messi, without doubt, without question, are the top 2 players in the world. So you bring someone like him in, and it really changes the map of your team. And as I said, they've always gone through Bruno Fernandes. Everything goes through him. So it'd be interesting to see if that's still the case and then they supplement Ronaldo into that mix, or whether now everything goes through Ronaldo. If I think they do that, they're probably going to upset the balance of the team. So I think it's probably better if Ronaldo plays off Bruno Fernandes and then they take it from there. I don't know what happened to Cavani though. They've just re-signed him back, but he doesn't even look like he's going to feature now because someone has to sit. And they've always had this problem. You know, Martial doesn't get into the team these days. I'm surprised they didn't actually sell him. The Rashford has been a bit part player, so someone's going to have to cry some tears over this. But for me, I think they had the best transfer window, and I give them a 9 out of 10. So on to Arsenal. Wow. Okay, so let me quantify my grade. Arsenal have two grades. They have a 5 out of 10 for the business that they've done now, and that could be converted into a 7 out of 10 if the players they bought pans out. Maybe 7.5 out of 10 if the players pan out. Now, what I mean by that is Arsenal. It's quite strange when you think that Mikel Arteta, Edu, are trying to reinvent the team. They're trying to take this team through transition. And all the players they bought, 5, 6 players that they bought, were under the age of 23. So congratulations, because those guys in the next few seasons are going to all be increased in their value. They're going to be coming on to a point where they're going to supplement their value and they'll be worth a lot more than what they paid for. Great, fantastic. Because you've made nothing on player sales over the last few years. So that's something that they had to do. And this transfer window for them, because of that, is really a poison chalice. Because I mentioned that they needed the experience. They've got a lot of young kids and they've let go David Luiz and they've got no leadership at all. And it would have been nice if you spent 150 million and at least brought some leadership into the team. So you haven't got that. Yeah? You haven't got leadership. Second thing is, how many of these young players are actually going to be first team players? That's the biggest question. The biggest question for me is, you spent that amount of money, you've invested that amount. Who's actually going to be first team players? Sambi got dropped against Man City, which wasn't a good sign. I have to, because of how weak the midfield is, say he's a first team player. Yeah, sorry, I know. Yeah, all this stuff talk about, he was brought in to be a bit part player, and he's the first option in the midfield behind Partey and Xhaka. No, I think he's a better, more competent player than Xhaka is, and I think he's got way more upside, and I think he complements Thomas Partey in a better range. So I actually think he should be starting, but that's the manager's decision. We don't know that confirmation yet. When Xhaka's red card ban finishes and that's over, whether he comes back into the team is something that we have to guess. So again, it's one of the things that we don't know. Ramsdale been brought in to challenge for the number one role, but he isn't the number one shirt bearer. He isn't. Yeah. Ben White, again, played one game for Arsenal, and he's brought in to be a starter, so he's going to start. Odegaard, he's the number 10. He's been brought in to start. Tavares, no. Tommy at right back, we'll have to wait and see, because the right back's been rotating so much. And Chambers and Suarez and Maitland-Niles are still there at the club. So, Bellerin obviously has gone, but him coming in means now you've got 4 choices at right back. And quite frankly, I just would have put Maitland-Niles there. I wouldn't even have bought the player. I mean, all due respect to Tommy, but I would have just gone with Maitland-Niles, and I probably did that a long time ago. So that is probably 20 million that we could have spent on Aouar. Yeah, we could have just brought Aouar in, and that would have been game over. So really strange how this transfer window has come to part. But because of that, because we don't know what we've got and how it will impact the team, then this has to be a 5 out of 10 for me. If it turns out, as I said, and it's all wonderful and we gain stability, because those were positions of need, guys. Right back, backup goalkeeper, attacking midfielder, a backup left back, they were all positions of need. So it's not like they didn't do what they were supposed to do. They did. But whether it accounts to anything and whether it will change our result, whether it would impact us into the top 4 or the top 6, I have to say no. I have to say that the players will slot in and do a job, but will they actually improve the team? I can't really say that at this point. So for that, I'm going to have to say that it's probably about a 5 out of 10 for now. So overall, guys, it's a poor start to the season, and it's sort of an underwhelming window, if I'm honest. But it's a window that can bear fruitation, because I understand what these guys are doing. Yeah, I understand that they're trying to build something here. They're not looking for instant success. They're not looking to hit the ball out of the park right now. I would think that that's something that is going to be in year three. Yeah, the year three plan is where these players are going to be finding their foot, and a lot of contracts are going to be over. There won't be no Lacazette, no Nketiah, no Klasnach, or any of this stuff. There's going to be a plethora of players whose contracts is going to end. So all this infighting that you're doing and carrying these massive salaries, Lacazette 180 grand a week, Klasnach 110 grand a week. That's 300 grand right there in those two players. All that money would be gone. And you're talking about another 15 to 20 million of wages saved just on the fact that you're getting rid of a few players. But again, this is all for development. This is all for being in a transition. This is all for down the road. And the frustration for Arsenal fans is they want to win now. Unfortunately, this team isn't set up to win now. So that's just where we are right now, guys. That's how it is. And we have to move on and support them in that reign. It can't be any other way, because this team is just not built to win now. And for me, leadership is a concern. It's a massive, major concern. So that's where it is, guys, I'm afraid. So that's my verdict. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Give me your grades of what you think this transfer window is. And then we'll pick this up in the podcast later on in the week. Speak to you later, guys. Peace out. Right back at you, man.